Hi, my name is Grace. I am 26 years old and I'm making this video to talk about my 6-week post-op update for my total thyroidectomy. So in today's video, I want to talk about the process that led up to the decision to have my thyroid removed, my surgery and recovery, and how things have been going post-surgery in terms of life without a thyroid and all the fun things. So this video is going to be really casual. I'm not a professional video editor and I do have notes on my computer, so I might be looking around and it might not be like edited perfectly, but all I know is that these videos were incredibly helpful and comforting for me as I was waiting for my surgery to come. And yeah, so I wanted to make something like this to give back to others, and I hope that this provides you with the comfort and information that you're looking for, or at least another account of someone's personal experience to have in your pocketbook of knowledge. Obviously, I'm not a doctor too, so just got to give that disclaimer. So diving into it, this year in June of 2020, I made an appointment with my general doctor or my general family practitioner because I had noticed a lump in my neck. I was kind of concerned about it and I had been watching it honestly for a few months, and finally I was like on Google one night and I learned that thyroid nodules were really common, but there also could be other problems that might be behind what was causing the lump. So I made an appointment with my doctor to get it checked out because I figured, better safe than sorry. So I made this appointment, went to my general family doctor, and she was basically like, hey, that's not normal. We have to do some tests. So we did a blood test, we did an ultrasound of my thyroid, and then we also did a nuclear uptake scan. And I should say that those didn't all happen at once. It was a series of events. Those were the tests I had done with my general family doctor. And my thyroid blood work came back fine. I was definitely slightly on the hypo side, but not, I was just on the slower end of normal, but nothing that was too concerning or seemed to be correlated with the lump. But then my ultrasound did come back and they found 3 large nodules on my thyroid. I think one was like 3 centimeters and the others were 2.5 centimeters. And that was definitely concerning. In addition to that, the nuclear uptake scan results that I had also suggested that there was some reason to be concerned with the state of my thyroid. So with that being said, my general family doctor, she referred me to a surgical oncologist, and I went to the surgical oncologist and had a fine needle aspiration biopsy done. Those results came back, and of the 2 large nodules that were on the left-hand side, one of them had what my doctor said was about a 15% chance of being follicular cancer, and then the one on the right was highly suspicious for malignancy. My doctor said that it was about a 90% chance of being papillary thyroid cancer, and because it was so high and suspicious that they recommended the complete removal of my thyroid, which was a lot to process. So that was in mid-July by that point. So about a month and a half of testing and various appointments had passed, and the decision to have my thyroid removed, or the recommendation, definitely was difficult for me to process. I think honestly, the word cancer is really upsetting to hear, but for me, I knew that the thyroid was really important for your body, and the thought of needing to live without one, I think all of the worst thoughts possible came to my mind, and I was just really scared and really concerned that life as I knew it was over and I was going to be miserable forever, which is grim, but just keeping it real. So that's how I had felt. So because I was so scared, I really wanted to be positive that removing my thyroid was the right decision. And I did go to 2 other surgeons to get opinions and have them look at all my test results and make a independent recommendation from the original recommendation that I had been given. And both of those surgeons recommended that my thyroid come out completely. So that was a really scary thing. If you don't know, there's a lot of risks with removing the whole thyroid. You can obviously these risks are really rare, but you can have permanent vocal cord damage, you can lose your ability to talk, you could lose your ability to swallow. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with the surgery itself. And then there's also a lot that can go wrong with hormone replacement therapy. And if your body has issues with, having your thyroid hormone given to you through Synthroid and other things. So I was very nervous, to say the least. It was just terrifying. So I ended up scheduling my surgery with Dr. Gary Clayman. He actually is the top thyroid surgeon in the country, which was really incredible for me because I live in Florida and he's based out of Tampa. So he was actually pretty close to where I live, and I was really fortunate that I was able to go to him and that he was so close to me. But I know a lot of people fly in from all over the country to go see him. So I'll leave his practice's link below if you're interested, or if you have like a really rare or case that needs, that kind of attention. So my surgery was on August 26th. Like I said, I'm 6 weeks post-op today, and my surgery went really well. Honestly, I wish I had more exciting information to share. But I went in, they got me hooked up to the IV, and, the anesthesiologist came in and his team, and they asked me questions, and, they rolled me into the operating room. My surgery took about an hour and a half, and I woke up in a post-surgery area where nurses were monitoring me for a few hours. I was really fortunate that I didn't have any permanent damage to my parathyroid glands, and I didn't even have issues with my calcium levels in my immediate recovery. A lot of people need calcium pills for a few weeks or months, just while their parathyroid glands adjust following a thyroidectomy, and I did not have that experience. So I woke up, was told my parathyroid glands were fine, had a mild sore throat, and my most difficult symptom from my surgery was that my voice was really weak. And while you could hear my voice, if I talked for too long, I immediately lost it. And that was hard, and I think has been the struggle for my surgery that has followed me the most. So I'll talk about that in a little. But yeah, in terms of my immediate recovery, I felt really good. I only needed to take ibuprofen. Obviously, take what you need. If you need something stronger and your doctor recommends it, there's no shame in that. But I was in a pretty good spot. The worst part in terms of like pain and discomfort for me was the fact that I had a drain tube coming out of my neck, and it was clipped onto my shirt, like collecting all the fluids from my neck. And that was just really uncomfortable. It felt disgusting. It just was not a good feeling, and because of that, I couldn't shower for 3 days. So that was definitely the worst part, short term, following the surgery. So I stayed overnight. They took really good care of me, had lots of popsicles, and no one feels amazing after having their neck sliced open, but I would say that it was very manageable, and it was not the worst thing in the entire world. I definitely think that there are more painful surgeries probably than how I felt in that moment. The other thing I forgot to mention, just because I'm kind of free flow talking here, is they did remove some lymph nodes as well from immediately behind my thyroid. And that was the extent of lymph node removal. So I didn't have like a full right or left neck dissection. I just had the immediate lymph nodes right behind the thyroid damage or removed, because they didn't see any other reason to remove anything beyond that. And if it had spread, they thought with how my ultrasounds were showing that it would have only spread to the lymph nodes immediately behind the thyroid gland. So I think because my surgery was less invasive, and other people certainly have other experiences with more involved neck dissections, I was feeling okay. Not great, but okay. So yeah, the next day I was discharged from the hospital around noon. So I was there for just a little bit over 24 hours from the time I checked in at 9 a.m. the day before to my noon checkout. And they sent me home with Synthroid to start taking, and that was the first day that I took my first Synthroid pill. The nurses helped me with it in the morning, and then they also sent me home with a 90-day supply with the expectation that I'd follow up with my endocrinologist 4 weeks post-op, 4 to 6 weeks post-op. So yeah, surgery was fine. So I went home. I will say once I was home and I was in that immediate recovery period, I think the things that helped me the most, or some things that I wanted to touch on, were walking, which kind of sounds kind of weird. But I tried to get a little bit of walking in every day, even if that literally meant walking in a circle around the kitchen once. I think at around 5 days post-op, I was able to walk around the block, and then a week post-op, I walked a mile. But I do think having some level of really slow but consistent activity helped my body feel strong, and it gave it what it needed to recover a little bit. Beyond that, though, some other things that helped me when I got home from the hospital were having a airplane pillow handy. So I had like a nice neck pillow to prop my head up on. And I also got a wedge pillow off of Amazon, so I can link that below. And that just kind of helped put my back on an incline while I was sleeping, because at first they recommend that you don't lay all the way back, or at least that's what my doctor told me to do. And yeah, I'm trying to think, but those were the three main things that helped. Walking, wedge pillow, airplane pillow, and of course like ibuprofen and all the things they tell you to take. But those were the things that helped me a lot in my recovery. I think the thing that was honestly the hardest for me was my voice. It still is a struggle, but it's been getting consistently better, and it's just something that is going to take a long time. I would say pretty confidently that the first 2 weeks I would lose my voice frequently. Weeks 2 through 4, my talking voice got a lot stronger, but I still had issues projecting and raising my voice in loud situations, as well as like yelling. Not that I was screaming constantly, but you know, if you like yell at your dog, or you're in the house and you yell over to a family member in the other room, those kinds of things are really difficult for me. And I would say just now in weeks 5 and 6, I've like gained my ability to scream and raise my voice back, and that's been something I'm really grateful for. But that was probably my biggest struggle post-op, was having those issues with my voice and learning to cope with that and get by not being able to be heard. I think especially right now with coronavirus and, you know, masks, I completely support masks, but I will say that when you can't talk and no one can hear you and they can't see your mouth and the words you're voicing out, it does present a really big challenge. And I think that combination made that the hardest part of my recovery, past the initial pain and discomfort. So yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about my surgery experience. My pathology results came back and I did not need radioactive iodine. So I was very fortunate that, you know, I was very fortunate with those results, and I've been very fortunate with my experience so far. But I also think that that's important to share, because I think, you know, not everyone's gonna have a good experience, but I also think that we need to share the good experiences, because, you know, sometimes a shitty situation can end up okay, and it's important that you know that too. So yeah, so 6 weeks on Synthroid, that's kind of been my next step. I think for me, I was the most scared about this part of my experience, and not having a thyroid and being dependent on Synthroid, having things go wrong. I had just read so many scary things about people gaining, you know, 20 pounds in their first 6 weeks, you know, 60 pounds in their first 6 months, and what else? Like losing all their hair, you know, having horrible periods. Like I just had read really scary things, and to be completely honest, I was kind of like, you know, it feels like this could be worse. Like, I think that was what was so hard. It's like, this is difficult to articulate, but because I didn't feel sick when I had my biopsy, you know, I think a lot of people, when they're told that they have a cancerous thing in their body, that they feel sick and they want it out. And I think for me, what was hardest, to be completely honest, and don't judge me for this, I'm just being real, was feeling like I was a perfectly healthy person who had always prioritized exercising and eating healthy and, you know, trying to make really good choices for my health. And I felt fine, and being told that I had to enter into a situation where my life could not be fine and I might gain 1 million pounds and things might go poorly really quickly. So that was the part I was the most scared about, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. hopefully, or maybe I'm crazy, also fine. So post-surgery, I'm proud to say, as of last week, 5 weeks post-op, I haven't weighed myself yet this week. I had not gained any weight. In fact, I was probably down about 3 pounds. I will say I have been watching what I'm eating, but I have not been extremely restrictive. So I've been trying to eat a high protein diet, just because I heard that's helpful when you're recovering from surgery. And it's also, it helps to keep you a little bit fuller while you're trying to manage your weight or you're worried about fluctuations. But I've been eating, I would say, around like 1,900 calories a day on the weekdays, like Monday through Thursday. And then on the weekends, I tried to make healthy choices, but also enjoy a good pizza, enjoy burgers, Chick-fil-A. Like, if I'm going out or I want something on the weekends, like, I let myself have fun and eat what I like. And I've been continuing to exercise. I've always been a big exercise person, so I like to take Pure Barre classes. I have been walking a lot, and I do the occasional run. So I've been trying to stay active. I wouldn't say I'm like a bodybuilder, but I've been trying to practice a healthy lifestyle, watching what I eat, whatever. And I think I've been a little bit more mindful of it during this period of time because I was so afraid about my weight. So yeah, obviously that could change and things could not continue to work out for me, but so far I've been okay. The other thing I would say that I had kind of read about that I was concerned about was feeling extreme exhaustion. And I had just read these stories about like thyroid tired and, just feeling like you can't get out of bed. And as someone who loves to wake up at 5 a.m. and go work out, and I'm kind of crazy, I was really worried that I was just going to not be able to live my life and do the things that I like. And I can also report that that has not been the case for me so far either. I've been very fortunate that, I've been feeling pretty normal. I did have a period of feeling really exhausted at about like 1.5 to 3 weeks, I would say. I think my body was really getting used to the new medicine then. But overall, it felt pretty okay, and I've been very fortunate in that regard. It doesn't mean I haven't had a bad day or two, but I would say that anytime I've felt a little like thyroid tired, I've been able to fix it with just taking a break, sitting down, watching a movie, resting. So I haven't had any experiences where I've been so tired that it's interrupted my ability to live my life and do what I love. So that's what I would say. And I think the past like week or two, I've been feeling really good. So that's that. My initial blood work, I was slightly hypo. My TSH was 4.75, so definitely on the higher side. But I think the fact that I've still been feeling mostly okay with a few bumps in the road just makes me feel really optimistic that once we work out the medicine, things are going to be fine. And if I'm able to continue to live happily during this period of adjustment, I think that gives me a lot of hope for the future. The last thing I was concerned about that I wanted to talk about was hair loss. So I do think I've been having some minor hair loss. It has not been extreme, but I do feel like either from the stress of the surgery, some mild hypothyroidism, or my synthroid, because my doctor said all three can cause hair loss, I have been losing a little bit more hair than normal. It has not been something so far that has been interrupting my life. And yeah, I have been taking biotin to try to help with that. I take a biotin keratin collagen supplement. I know that does interrupt thyroid test results, so you should know that, and you should talk to your doctor before you take biotin. But I will link that below. The one I've been taking, talk to your doctor before you take it. And I've also been taking a thyroid supplement to help with like my thyroid hormones converting from like T4 to T3 and like all the different interactions. So I'll link that below. Again, talk to a doctor, but I think those things have been helping me. And yeah, so that's everything. I think the last thing I'll touch on is just my scar. I personally was not super concerned about the scar just because I feel like if you have to go to hell and back, might as well have a scar to tell the story. But I have been taking good care of it. I've been using silicone scar sheets. I'll link them below. That has been at the recommendation of my doctor, and I think at the 6-week mark, it's been looking pretty good. I think it could be worse, you know. I'm pretty happy with it, and I've just been wearing those scar sheets because they protect it from the sun, and just trying to wear like high neck shirts most of the time, and you know, keep it out of the sun, keep it hydrated. I rub it with cocoa butter with vitamin E. So we'll see, and I hope to do like a 6-month update as well, just kind of talking about how things have been going. So yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. So that is my complete 6-week post-op thyroidectomy story. I hope this video was really helpful for you, and I think my biggest piece of advice is just to stay positive and stay educated. I think one of the things that has helped me the most during this time is just staying positive, which can be hard at first, but also like making sure I'm as informed as possible, learning about the different thyroid hormones in my body. I've learned so much about T4 and T3 and TSH and reverse T3 and like all the different hormones. I've learned so much about them to try to educate myself, so at least I'm educated as I'm talking to doctors and things like that, and I know the lingo enough that I can have a conversation and advocate for myself. And I've also found a lot of communities have been really helpful for me. So the thyroid cancer Reddit has been really helpful, the hypothyroidism Reddit, I'll link all these below. There's this doctor I found called Dr. Weston Childs. He has some interesting thyroid content. I've liked it personally, so I'll link that below, his YouTube channel and blog. And the other thing I've been doing is watching YouTube videos, or I had done was watch videos, and I also like to look at hashtags on Instagram. So hashtag thyroidectomy, hashtag ThyCa, hashtag thyroid cancer. The last thing I will say that really helped me was the ThyCa Thyroid Cancer Organization also has a peer match program where they match you with someone who has been through a similar thyroid cancer journey as you, and I got matched with an amazing volunteer that really helped me cope in the early stages leading up to my surgery. So those are all the things I'd recommend. I will link everything below, all the products I mentioned in this video that helped me, all of the resources that helped comfort me, and I hope it all helps you out. So wishing you all the best. Thanks for watching this brutally long video, and I wish you the best of luck on your thyroid journey and health, positivity, all the good things. So talk to you later. Bye.